another edition of the MMK show. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can optimize your Amazon listings using AI. We've got John Tilley from ZonGuru, who's going to be sharing about their new tool that they have added to their platform, ZonGuru, that really helps you leverage AI for your Amazon listings. Mag and Kevin, how are you guys doing today?
Very well. A bit cold, but other than that, we're fine.
As always, very good, Magla. And it was only last week when we had the last show, wasn't it? Where we had that amazing giveaway. Go on, tell us more, Magla. That was fantastic, wasn't it? And the response.
Yes, that was so exciting. So we did a giveaway for India sourcing trip. We did one free ticket. We gave away one free ticket to India sourcing trip, October 2023. And the lucky winner was Aban Karkaria from the UK. And in fact, she had attended the previous trip, although she hadn't done the entire trip, but she was there for a couple of days and she absolutely loved it. And she was anyways thinking of coming back. And now she's got this free ticket. So she was so excited. She was so excited. She's already sourcing products from India. So it's a great opportunity for her to go back and meet her suppliers as well.
Yeah. She was ecstatic at winning, and I mean it's. I remember meeting Aban in Delhi in October, and she was just starting her journey sourcing Indian-made products, and she'd be really excited. And this is going to fast track her, I would imagine. So, and put her back really on the journey with sourcing from, and of course the other plus this time is we're doing two side trips, one to Moradabad, one to Jaipur, and so that's going to give people an option, to do the two trips at the end of the India sourcing trip. So not to be confusing, that we go to Moradabad for I think 3 days, wasn't it, Megla, in all?
Yeah.
And so we're going to do a similar thing for Jaipur for about 3 days.
Yes.
We're going to go 3 visits. But
exactly.
apparently we haven't got a bus. We've got elephants in Jaipur. Is that right?
Yeah. We've got elephants from Delhi to Jaipur. So we're getting the royal treatment, Kevin.
The royal treatment. That's it.
Yeah. So early bird tickets are now available for India sourcing trip October 2023. In case anyone's interested, go ahead and take a look at the website. And as Kevin said, we've got the main trip that is 9 days, 8 nights. And then we've also got additional optional trips to Moradabad or Jaipur. And these are, factory visits mostly. So we spend about 2.5 days or so in these factories. And Moradabad is known for metal and wooden products, and Jaipur is known for mostly hand block printing, some wooden products, jewelry, a lot of apparel, and also some leather products as well. And Jaipur has a wider variety of products than Moradabad. Also, Jaipur has a lot of history and a lot of interesting places to visit. So cultural activities, sightseeing, very interesting. So if you do want to do a bit of sightseeing, you can stay on after the Jaipur trip, and then that should be quite interesting. Claire says, I was booked for Jaipur 2020. Unfortunately, COVID canceled. Will be a fabulous trip. Claire, yes, and you should join us again. Let's talk. Yeah. You should definitely come on.
Love to see you there, Claire. Yeah.
Right. So check out indiasourcingtrip.com. Also, I just want to point out that we are going to be doing India sourcing trip only once a year. Until last year, we were doing this, until this year, we're doing the trip 2 times a year, March and October. But starting from 2024, we'll be doing our Vietnam trip in spring, in April, and then India trip in October. So if you don't join the India trip now, the next opportunity will be in October 2024. So, that's a long time to wait. So we would really suggest to join the October trip in 2023. All right. So let's get started, Marg and Kevin. You guys ready?
Yep.
Absolutely. We're always ready.
Okay. So let's invite our guest, John Tilley from ZonGuru. Hi, John. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up? How's it going, everyone?
Hi, John. Good to see you, man. Yeah.
Nice background. We were just asking, is that real or is that one of the Zoom backgrounds there?
No, it's real. It's 7 o'clock or so or 6:30 somewhere around there in Los Angeles. So you get the real John Tilly at home in the garage, while inside the two little girls are running around like crazy. So this is the spot in the house right now.
That's awesome. Love it. Yeah. Okay, so John, we're super excited to learn more about your new tool that uses AI to optimize listings. But before that, do you want to just give a background on yourself? Of course, everybody knows you, but just in case there are some people who've been living under a rock, just a quick intro.
Yeah, sure. I'm John Tilly, the co-founder of ZonGuru. It's really an operational tool set for private label sellers globally, as well as agencies who some of the biggest agencies are using our software to run Amazon storefronts. So we have about 18 different tools connected to the global Seller Central Amazon marketplaces. And yeah, we launched ZonGuru back in 2016. Before that, I was actually, it's windy. Before that, I actually was and still am a private label seller on Amazon. And before that, I was in the digital agency world for a long time. So, we've grown ZonGuru over the years. And recently, as part of our flagship tools, which is Keywords on Fire and Listing Optimizer, we were the first in the space to launch a ChatGPT integration into our Listing Optimizer tool. So back in January, we launched it, and we're about to come out with ChatGPT 4 integrated with Listing 4.0, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that version today. So super exciting. You guys are hot off the press because it literally launches tomorrow. So I'll show you some of that, some of the functionality. And literally since January, there's been a lot of learnings, insights, and ways to work better with ChatGPT to get it to create amazing listings. And we see some amazing results, which I'll talk about a little bit more as we get into the presentation.
Awesome. So let's get started. I'm going to share your screen. Okay, so we can see your screen now.
Great. So, all right. So can you guys see me if...
Yeah, we can see you.
Great. You can see my screen, right? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we just talked about this, a little bit of an introduction with the marketplaces that we've connected with: North America, Europe, India, and Australia. And I want to just take a short step back to give you a little bit of background on what we call contextual SEO. So SEO for Amazon listings, but a phrase that we coined a while back called contextual SEO. So I want to talk a little bit about the theory of how we optimize listings and how we've created the tool to give you that context, and then obviously the ChatGPT integration and some learnings around that. So we'll just take a few minutes to go over that. So when I say contextual SEO, what do I mean by that? I mean it's the best, listing optimization in terms of getting as maximum reach that you can, visibility, and your maximum amount of conversions for obviously the algorithm. And it's changing all the time. But understanding what are the best keywords that you should be optimizing for, not just what every competitor reverse indexes for, but what are customers actually typing into Amazon. And then importantly from the Amazon algorithm is understanding how to optimize it to meet Amazon's business objectives. And that's constantly changing, right? Depending on their strategy, have they got enough traffic? Are they trying to get more traffic? Are they trying to, get better listings in front of customers? Whatever their strategies are, making sure that you align with the algorithm, and it's constantly changing. So we're testing, and we have a preferred network there, so we understand what needs to be done. So number one is the algorithm. Number two is clearly humans, and sometimes we forget. And importantly, humans are for the content, and of course the images and how we can portray that to connect with them and understanding the emotional connection with customers. So don't forget that piece. And then finally, which is the context piece is understanding that you need to understand where your competitors are focusing, number one, and where are they strong and where are they weak, and how well are they optimized, and can you at least go out into the marketplace with the best listing on page one? And how do you identify that, and how do you validate that you have the best listing on page one? So that third piece is a really important part of our tool and our strategy when doing listing is how can we as sellers understand where are competitors focusing, strong, weak, and how do we be better than them from an optimization perspective? And our tool can show you that, because we rate the listings in your niche. So we'll show you that in a second. All right, so ChatGPT, as I said, we were the world's first in the Amazon space to launch the beta version of ChatGPT integration in January, which was pretty exciting for us and for the community. And everyone dived in and certainly used a lot of our ChatGPT back in the day, January. I mean, it's only a couple of months ago, but lots changed since then. And we were the world's first. We are the leader in that space, and we're constantly innovating on that specific part of our tool. So I believe we'll be the world's first tomorrow with ChatGPT 4.0 integrated, and a lot more customization that goes with that as well. So when anybody who's seen the tool, what I mean by listing 4.0, there's a lot more there, but at a high level, it's improved results, better customization, understanding that you can customize how you prompt the AI, but more importantly, how do you reprompt it once it's actually generated results, so that you can better it on how much it's self-learned, and you can direct it to get a better listing. And of course, a scoring system and bulk optimizations, which we're developing the product for our enterprise clients, but also agencies, and being able to do it at a larger scale is important, right? So those are kind of things that we've launched right now. And so what are we learning? This is a couple of stats. We track across all of our customers and our customer base. What are we seeing from customers that are using our keyword tool and our AI listing optimization technology? And it's about a 23% on average lift in revenue on existing listings. So if you look at existing listings and an improvement there, we're seeing on average a 23% lift in revenue, which is, across the board is pretty insane. And I'll explain to you when we get into the tool why that is the case, that we're seeing that. And it's really how well it optimizes for the keywords in the right way. And we're also seeing a 37% improvement in the overall score for your listing versus your top competitors that you can get in under 1 minute. So when you run a listing, which literally takes a minute, as everyone knows with AI, it's extremely fast. On average, we're seeing a 30% better optimization score versus the best listings on page one for that niche. So, clearly out of the gate, you're getting, we've talked about it as sellers all the time. There's no point in doing every other strategy out there to drive traffic and conversions if you don't have the best optimized listing that you can put forward. And if you don't have the best listing, you're leaving potential on the table for every other strategy that you do. So it is the heartbeat of your business outside of your product, and you've got to get that right. So that's what the tool does. I want to say here that it's really important to note, and we believe this from the very first minute we created this, is this is not a replacement for good content writers, for expert sellers, and for expert product brand owners, right? This is purely to give you a really good baseline that is written in the correct way, that is optimized in the right way for keywords for the algorithm, that you can then and you get that baseline in under a minute, that you can then come and use a human eye to bring your expertise and your creativity to that content. And if you don't do that, you're definitely missing out on really excelling your business forward. So this is not an excuse to be lazy and just to use AI. It's literally the best tool in the space to speed up your processes so that you can focus on the most impactful parts of your business, which is obviously what we want to do as sellers, right? So it really is an important piece that this is not just bulk optimizations and things you're going to do so you don't have a eye on the listing. And if you skip on that, you're missing out on being the best in the space. So it does move us from being creators to content editors, right? And we're seeing that across the board. And again, the roadmap is exciting and never ending. We have a few more steps to go on our listing optimizer tool, but certainly there's going to be other areas of the business we're going to bring ChatGPT into to help solve things quicker and faster and better, so that we can focus on the right parts of our business. So that's that. I don't need to go over this in too much detail. How do you prompt ChatGPT? Now, clearly, you can, as a seller, you can build, you can build scripts and prompt ChatGPT yourself. With ZonGuru, obviously we build that subscription price into our software. We don't charge you in addition for that, so you're getting that straight up. And we do all of the automations, the learning, the improvements all of the time to give you the best results. So all of that script writing and understanding how to prompt ChatGPT is included. And this is just some learning. So if you don't use ZonGuru, maybe this will help you not only in your listing creation, but any way that you prompt AI, right? And that's number one. Give it context, so product awareness is clear, and the big part here is relevant quality keywords, right? And that's one of the best things you can get with ZonGuru is by using the listing optimizer. We're prompting it with the right keywords, the most relevant keywords that move the needle for your business. So the intelligence is in the keywords, number one, and then the intelligence is in how we prompt it. So if you get the right keywords, you're already a few steps ahead, right? So provide context, explain what you will provide clearly. So I will provide keywords in this order with this score. Tell it to have a specific role, right? So what kind of hat should it wear? You are an experienced copywriter specializing in Amazon e-commerce, and therefore write X, Y, and Z, right? If you prompt it in whatever you're doing and tell it what type of hat to wear, you're going to get much better results. Be specific about the rules. Hey, your title has to be this long. You need to start each bullet with an emoji or whatever, with the benefits up front, followed by the description. However you want to do it, be very specific, and importantly, tell it what not to do, right? So if you don't prompt it in the right order and you give it too much information without telling it exactly what to do and what not to do, it can get confused really quickly. So you've got to, just as important to tell it what to do, you have to tell it what not to do. And that's kind of things like, just give me exactly this. Don't give me anything more. Don't start fantasizing on me. And also, I don't think I have it here, but I do there. Say please. It's funny, but if you flatter the AI, it does work in a better way. And I was joking with someone the other day that if AI is going to take over the world, as long as it knows that we're its friend, we will probably be in a better position. So always say please and thank you when you talk to your AI. What are the types of prompts? Keyword intelligence, which is obviously critical, where we have that built into our tool, and is literally the world's best, I would say, in the space around keyword intelligence around relevancy, which is critical, right? Therein lies your opportunity. If you get the right keywords and others don't have it, you're going to do better. Review sentiment is important, and that's helping to understand the human emotion of what connects with them, and how do we feed that into our AI, and we do that through word cloud assimilation on reviews, which help a lot. Listing best performers in niche, obviously looking at who's the best performers and understanding what works there is an important prompt. Exact and broad match by in the title, by priority and order. So this is probably one of the most important things when prompting what the AI does for you, right? Is it writes an incredibly amazing, coherent, well-written listing that is right for how we write listings for Amazon. But most importantly, it exact and broad matches for the most relevant terms in your title, followed by your bullet description, back in search terms, in the best way possible. So when you compare other competitor listings to what the AI does, you'll see that it exact and broad matches for so many relevant terms. And that's actually a really hard skill to repeat, right? If you gave me all these keywords and you said, write a listing with all these keywords, trying to write that in a fluid way and exact and broad matching for the most terms is quite a difficult skill to do. And AI does that in a really amazing way straight off the bat. So you get this non-overstuffed keyword that matches in the right way. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I would say is an advantage of using AI. Product awareness is important. Language, with ChatGPT 4 right now, language is localized. So Spanish in Mexico is different to Spanish in Spain, right? So understanding what the localized dialect is, and then using ChatGPT to do the translations is critical. Tonality is there for you to use: professional, witty, fun, funny, whatever you want. and then importantly, inclusions and exclusions. Yes. So kind of back to that point, you have the ability to customize and say, I want to include this stuff, but I don't want to include this stuff, right? So, this is against terms of service for my, for my niche. So therefore, don't include these keywords. These are brand terms you shouldn't be including in your. So you have the ability to do it on both ends, right? Which is obviously extremely powerful when you're prompting and reprompting, right? So, and the regeneration. So once it's written a whole listing, you can actually, get it to rewrite parts of that if you don't like what you see, and it's going to self-learn from what it wrote before. So you can tell it, hey, I really like the first 5 sentences, but change these ones and make sure you include your character count to X, right? So that kind of ability to reprompt it is literally the first in the space to do this kind of work. So we're excited to bring this to market. This is kind of like I'll stop here after this because I'm sure there'll be a couple of questions, but this is the kind of the power user view of the tool, right? So when you're selecting keywords and you're going to generate your AI listing, you have the ability to select how many keywords you want to use. And in the settings, you can put a product description, which helps with awareness. You can exclude and negative match on certain keywords. You can give it a mood. You can give it a language, depending on what language you want to put it in. And then you can also tell the AI what to write on the reprompts. So once it's written, you can say, hey, take this and write this further. So you're going back with the reprompt and telling it exactly how to write something on top of that. So this is going to be an amazing game changer based on anything that's in the space, which is having this level of customization is pretty insane. So we're excited to come out with this pretty soon. I want to stop there and just say, are there any questions, or I'll jump into a demo in a second, but Megla, Margaret, Kevin, any questions on that?
Look, I just think it's a real game changer for a lot of people, John. To have that added help for some, it's like they've got they've got their own, what they call it, whereas we're going and paying people to do a lot of things for us, whereas we can have it one tool, and you can have, once you learn how to obviously master it and learn how to command it in a correct way, you've got a little servant, haven't you, on your behalf, sort of thing. So I think it's great. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Very exciting. And I mean, the ZonGuru's tool, does that do, let's say, the work 80%, and then you've got to have somebody maybe just do look through the keywords and just make sure that everything makes sense? So would you say 80% of the work is done by the tool?
Yeah, I would say on an optimization perspective, it does like 95% of the way there, right? The optimization score in terms of how it matches for the best keywords is literally better than 37% higher on average than the best listings on page one. So an optimization score does really well, but it's about 85% there because it needs that extra additional 15% from you as a subject matter expert in your space to look at your listing, make sure that it's written exactly how you want it. Maybe some benefits need to be improved. Maybe it needs to be prioritized, or tweaked, right? So, it's 85% there. And I would say that the biggest benefit we're seeing for sellers, individual sellers or kind of larger enterprise companies, is the content creators. It speeds up that process drastically, which is a number one, a great benefit. But it also the secondary thing there is it actually saves a lot of time on the procrastination of actually doing listings, right? We all know that to get a listing done can take a lot of time, and there can be a lot of effort put into setting aside time to get into listings, and that just evaporates because you literally just run the AI and you get a baseline in under a minute that you can then focus on. So it helps a lot on that front. And then I would say the other really important piece of listing optimization is, not necessarily using it on your flagship listings or SKUs that's the most that you already put a lot of effort into, right? It's always good to check how well you've optimized, and you can do that in the tool and maybe tweak it here and there manually. but using the AI on your lesser performing SKUs that really do need an update on the listing, but it's just a heavy resource allocation that you just can't get to. And now with AI, you can get to those lesser performing SKUs, make sure that they are well optimized, especially if you have a big SKU count, 100 to 1,000 SKUs or whatever. And then your whole business as a whole lifts, right? So we've always talked about that in business ownership. It's not always about the best performers. It's sometimes about the worst performers and what can you do on that front to improve it. And this is a tool that can really help on that front. So, that's a big benefit that we're seeing across people's businesses right now.
Cool. So we've got a couple of questions over
Sure.
here. Christine is asking, there are a lot of ChatGPT writers out there. Can you use this to write for other platforms like Facebook or Pinterest as well for a similar voice across channels?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So right now, the way that we're optimizing the content is for Amazon only, right? So, how to, Amazon specific keywords, Amazon specific listing criteria. However, we have a lot of agencies and individuals that are using that as a baseline for other platforms, right? So we don't have it built into our platform, but a listing is a listing, and the way that Amazon listings are created is pretty universal. It's kind of like the universal standard across most platforms. So a lot of them will take that listing and then rewrite it in AI for the character counts of eBay, right, which is an 80 character count instead of a 200 or whatever it is. So the baseline of what you can get in that listing, you can certainly use that to write for any other platform. But you would just have to, copy it and transpose it into AI and then use it separately, right? So,
yeah. Actually, Claire had a similar question. Thoughts on the ChatGPT listing using that copy in Etsy listing? So what about using the same copy in an Etsy listing? That works.
Yeah, I would definitely, and more today, the baseline of keywords that you would find on Amazon, you're finding on other platforms of what they're looking like. It used to be a few years ago quite different in terms of like Google research versus Amazon research, because it was much more specific around products. But they're colliding more and more because customers who are searching for a product, whether it's Amazon, Google, Etsy, they're looking and they're using the same kind of keywords, right? So it's universal in that way. And if you do a listing for that, you can transpose it to any other platform.
Yeah, very exciting, Mark, right? What do you think?
I think it's really good. I think it's going to be, makes a lot of life easier. And I think it's good probably to grab some of your listings and just run through and just see where it comes up with. Like it's a bit of a, see what you've had wrong for so long, maybe. I don't know. Decide from there.
Yeah, we have to test.
Yeah.
We haven't tried it with our listings. We should do that probably.
And I think that's also the one big beauty of our listing optimization tool in terms of the structure is that you can upload your current listing and the tool will rate how well your listing is optimized. And then you can obviously, use ChatGPT to rewrite parts of that listing and see if it optimizes better, use certain keywords or see what keywords are missing, add them. Or you can also just, add your own listing and see how well it's optimized and then just create a brand new one from scratch and see what AI does in comparison, right? So this is going back to this idea of context, is we built the platform in a way that will show you how your best listings or the best listings you load compared to what you're creating. But I can show you within the tool if we want to jump in and look at it.
Yeah, let's jump in. In fact, Christine is asking, can you show us an example of the different voice styles? So I guess when you're doing the demo, we can look at different voice styles as well.
Yes, good question, but you actually catch me out there because I can't do the voice style this is on stage because as I mentioned, we're going live tomorrow and I won't be able to do the voice style today. But as soon as it's out, you can test it and bring the tonality as well. Yeah.
Okay. How about optimizing pictures? Somebody's asking. Does that?
Oh
does
yes.
that work
So it's not pictures. It's content specific. And importantly, content is obviously the main driver of the algorithm in terms of how you optimize and how you get that visibility and reach. Images are definitely more to help more on the conversion side, right? We're testing it at the moment. The tool isn't built to include images, we're testing it at the moment. It is probably going to be a future option where you can actually AI generate listings and then self-load that into the tool. But it's got a way to go. I would say in the testing of images right now, the best advice I can give you there is it's an amazing tool to use to brainstorm what your images could look like before you go ahead and actually get a photographer to do it. So if you're looking at specific angles, or you want to kind of brainstorm around what are some unique ways of creating your product angles, that is a great tool to use to brainstorm it. And we all know that your number one image, your listing image is so critical in getting the click-through rate, and being able to brainstorm, open it up to AI and see what they come back with. That's a really cool way to create those angles and then brief that to your photographers or your image renders to go ahead and create that as well. That's one big benefit that you can use with image creation right now.
Okay,
so really, John, the brainstorming creates quite a bit of inspiration within, doesn't it? By the sound of things.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. So let me share your screen, John. Okay, so now we can see your screen. We can get started with the demo.
Okay, so I've gone over from, this is ZonGuru. You've got, 18 different tools that you can use. And the ones that I've opened up right now is in the listing optimization section, which is Keywords on Fire, Keyword Spotlight, and Listing Optimizer. On the Listing Optimizer side, to give you a high level, you load the keywords on the left-hand side. So from our Keywords on Fire tool, which you can create a session on there, and I've created one already. You can load the keywords there. You can load the most relevant terms. You can load all of them, however you want to load them. You can also stack different keyword lists on top of that. So you could load from our tool. You can also load your own, manual list of keywords that you've collected over time. The tool would dedupe the two anyway, and it will give you a list of the best keywords to optimize. So however you want to do it, the left-hand side is going to give you the keywords. And on the right-hand side, you can load up to 8 different listings. So it's, and what I mean by that is you can load, typically how I would do this is I would load my best or top 3 competitors for the niche. So in this example of car mattress, I've loaded the top 3 listings that are organically ranked number 1, number 10, number 15, something like that for that term. But also they are from brand analytics are getting the most clicks and conversions. So we know that they're getting the most clicks and they're getting conversions from customers. So how well are they optimized? I've loaded them into the tool, and then I've created my own AI listing, right? So you can use the space for whatever you want. I can go add a listing, and I can go, hey, here's my own products, and I can select my own products. I could, I could add, I could search here. I could just write car mattress, and it will bring up the best, top organic ranked products. I could add those. I could add ASINs if I want. I can just drop over here and add a product ASIN. I could do a blank listing. However I want to set this up, you have a playground of up to 8 different listings that you can load. Now, importantly, this is all for comparison perspectives only. You don't have to load any competitors if you don't want to, or any other listings if you want to generate an AI. You can just do one listing if you want. But I would always recommend, from this idea of context, make sure you load at least 1 or 2 of your main competitors, maybe your own current listing, and then go ahead and do an AI listing on top of that. So that's what I've done. I've loaded these listings, and if I click on this first listing, it's right now it's getting an optimization score of 0 because I haven't loaded any keywords. And you do get a listing strength, which you can break down and see, how well is this listing optimized. It's a well optimized listing from a listing strength, and then it pulls in immediately all of the content for that listing, and it will pull in the title, all of the bullets, how they write it, and then it also pulls in the description. And importantly and uniquely to our tool, it will pull in actually the backend search term. So any competitor listing that you load, we have the ability to pull in the backend search term, so you can actually see what they're putting in there, right? So everything that matters from a content copy perspective is loaded to the listing, and we do that for all the listings. And simply all I need to do now is load the keyword. So I'll just go import from our tool. You can stack lists, but I'll just do it from my tool. And car mattress right here. I've got a bunch of keywords. I'll just select the strong and medium, and I'll add the keywords, right? So what it's doing right now is it's loading, and importantly, from our keyword intelligence, it's loading the most, relevant keywords from that niche. And our technology will do a reverse ASIN, but we also pull in various API data and dedupe that with the reverse ASIN and expand the niche so that we are very confident that we get the best keywords in that niche that customers are actually typing into Amazon this week, and also, what's indexed in the space. So you'll see a lot of opportunity in the keywords right off the bat. When you compare our keywords to any other tool out there, you'll see keywords that you just simply won't see in that space. For example, in the US market, you might see things like, right here, right? So there's Spanish keywords with decent search volume that you can click on and see the search volume over time. But we pull in those kind of keywords because they actually do search for those on the US platform, right? So we put in the keywords, we give it a relevancy score, search volume, and then how are these keywords added into the competitor listing? So on this specific competitor listing, they have an optimization score of 41,000, which is pretty good. Overall search volume. I can click on this and see a lot more detail on the optimization and how well they optimize for the maximum potential of the search volume. But they've also done a really good job of broad matching and exact matching for a lot of the most relevant terms, right? But they're also missing a lot of terms. So you can see backseat, they haven't put their word in as a one word, right? There's a few misspellings like car mattress. They haven't even got that in their listing, right? So you can see the kind of keywords that they're missing from their listing right off the bat. This listing hasn't done it's done a worse job. This one has done an even worse job. And then the AI listing, which I created before this, which is you simply hit AI generate, and in 30 seconds to a minute, it's going to generate a listing. You can see, this is what it's written straight off the bat. Now, actually, I've got to remove these because I added the back insertion. We don't add this straight away. So let me just take these out. I'll just take these keywords out. So you can see right off the bat, the type of listing that's scored right now is about a 45,000 optimization score, which is actually better than the best current listing on, the one that's getting the most clicks and conversions right now is 41,000, right? So it's done a better job of optimizing for the keywords. And the reason why is it's exact and broad matched for a lot more terms across the board, right? You can see how many it is right here by those little open stars. You can see all of these orange stars. It's done a really good job of exact match or broad matching for the most terms. And this is how it's written the listing, right? So you can see car air mattress for back seats, inflatable SUV camping airbag for ultimate comfort and support on the road trips and outdoor adventures, etc. Right? Fits all cars and trucks. A well-optimized listing up almost at 200 character limit. Bullet, it will write the benefit first. Versatile design. Our camping mattress for cars, it's perfect for all types of vehicles. Inflatable and portable. Durable and comfortable. With a good product description. And then you can add the back-end search terms as well. So, if I look at this whole listing, I can see, all of these dark green keywords are the ones that are missing. So I can go ahead and just click on these and add them directly to the back end here. I can also add all of them if I want. I can just click on all of the deduped terms and add them directly to the back end. So it's done that right now. And this is a really great optimized listing that, I can look at. I can also... It will tell me some other words that I might want to add, right? So I can go ahead and add like back seat. I can just go back and I can just type it in. I can remove keywords. I can do whatever I want. And now it's too long, right? So I can just take out a couple. That's fine. Let's say that's what I want to do. I can continue to optimize this by using my own creativity. And if I'm happy with this, I can actually make sure it's better than any listing on page one. It is. It's at a score of 52,000. And then I can publish directly to Amazon right here. Just click publish on Amazon, and it will, through the API, upload it directly to your storefront, and you can move on to the next listing. So it is an incredibly efficient and powerful tool in terms of making sure that it optimizes for the right keywords, and then allows you to compare and contrast that to your competitors to ensure that you have the best listing on page one, and then you can automatically upload that to Amazon before moving on to your next listing. So, you can understand from a whether you're a small seller or whether you have a team of content people and you have a standard operating procedure and a process, you can very easily give them access to this and for them to kind of really work through a lot of your listings and publish those directly and then move on to the other ones. And you guarantee that lift at the end of the day. So overall, it'll take a minute to generate the listing, but to set it up, it's probably going to take you 10 minutes. and you'll have that great listing compared to whatever it used to take before, which is an hour or two to write a listing, right? So it is a game changer in the space.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And we've got one question from Christine, and I was going to ask the same question. Why is the listing strength less? What do you need to do to improve that?
The listing strength is less in the AI version because this is a brand new listing, and right now it's pulling in the because it's generated an AI listing, and we haven't matched that to a specific one on Amazon. It's seeing that there's no images right now, and it doesn't have any ratings or reviews, right? So 0 ratings and reviews, so that's why it's low. But if this was my actual listing, like say if I loaded my actual listing and then I went in and I regenerated with AI for all of it or some of it, like I can just regenerate like the title. So I could go, for example, hey, I just want to regenerate the title over here, and I can hit this button right here, and I can regenerate the title using those keywords or whatever ones I want, or all of them. It's relating that to an actual ASIN on Amazon, and there's pictures and there's reviews and everything, and your score will be higher, right? So it's scoring it right, but it might be it's a good question, right? Because if I go to this one and I go and open the listing strength, you can see, hey, ratings, reviews, how many images it used, but it hasn't used 150 plus characters in each bullet point, right? So you can kind of see the AI listing is done really well with what it has, but it just doesn't have those pieces.
Wow, so the optimization score is now 52,000 on this one, I guess, after you added all the keywords.
Correct. So, the maximum search volume it could get from the keywords is around 637,000. And right now it's well optimized for up to 633. It gives you combined revenue. It's almost at the full combined revenue potential of 14 million. And then it gives you the optimization per bullet, search terms, title. So, every little like detail that you need to look at, it'll give you not only like how well it's optimized, but also, hey, these are some keywords you should be adding. GPA mattress, right? These ones are done pretty well. So it's not telling you, or maybe here it's saying add the word trunk, which is obviously a pretty strong word for the US, right? So, yeah.
So does it translate as well? Let's say if I want to do this listing on Amazon Japan, for example. So would it translate too? Does it do it in different languages?
So the way you do it is when you go to listing optimizer, when you set up the session, so I would name it whatever I want, and then I would choose the marketplace. So the marketplaces we're connected with right now are US, Europe, Australia, and India. We're not connected with Japan or UAE, right? So you could write the listing and then translate it, but it's not going to be for those marketplaces. So you would just choose the marketplace, and whatever you choose here, it will use the localized language for that. Because it's going to prompt it with what's important when you set it up. You're going to be adding keywords that are actually localized from the French marketplace, and then you'll have your list of keywords, and then you would translate it based on French on those keywords that are specific to that market, and all write it in French. And we've tested it with a bunch of translation agencies, and it's impressive. It's much more impressive than where we were with Google Translate back in the day, right? It's much more spot on, tonality, everything else is added to it.
So you've got all of Europe, like France, Germany. You've got all of the languages in there.
Correct, except for I think right now we do not have I think Polish or Poland, and we don't have the Netherlands in that listing.
Yeah, but the main ones are there. That's really good, because I mean that's something that I think a lot of sellers just get stuck at. So they've got a great listing in English, and then they've got to translate it. Of course, it's a cost, and you can use translation services and all. But if this tool is doing everything, that's amazing. That's really amazing.
It's just a comment on that as well. It's like I don't necessarily think that if this was me, I would do the translation, but I would have a translation agency verify and validate, or someone who spoke the local language to validate, because at the end of the day you need that critical eye to look at it, right? So I don't think it should take away from any of those translation services, but as much as it shouldn't take away from legal services, right? I'm not going to do the terms of service of my website using AI and simply publish that. That would be crazy. What I could do though is go find legal counsel, and instead of saying, hey, create something from scratch, I actually give them what I believe is the best listing in English and translate it, and say, hey, this is what my translator is saying. Can you spend an hour reviewing this instead of 10 hours doing it from scratch, right? So you give them a much stronger brief with something that clearly is where you want it to be, and then they can bring their expertise in that editing expertise way to your listing, right?
Plus, the other thing, John, like I said before, people should be involved. If it's their own listing, like they should, not just have a VA to do it for them or someone to do everything for them. Like you say, if they get the brief going themselves, they're a part of it too. So, I mean, it's their listing, it's their personality, it's their product and everything else. So I feel people should be a part of the whole thing themselves, even though they go on to give it to, that professional at the end to give it that final seal of approval. That's fine. But I think people should be involved themselves instead of giving everything off, and then getting the final results and going, oh yeah, I'll run with that. That looks good.
Yeah,
to actually do a bit of the homework yourself and be a part of it.
100% agree, and it's funny, but it's so interesting to see how humans get used to the normal, right? The new normal. 4 months ago, it would take an impressive amount of time to create a listing, and we literally speed that up into about 10 minutes or less, and obviously a minute once you have that listing or your variations. And then the immediate question is like, great, how can I do bulk optimizations across my whole thing and just automatically publish it? And I'm like, you realize that you've just literally saved yourself 90% of the time, and you can spend a little bit more time really taking your listing to the next level. And now you want to go beyond that. So I agree with you, and we've had requests to do bulk optimizations, which we can do, but we're pretty stringent in saying like, hey, you need to do it within the tool without automatically doing it, so that there is a critical human eye that's brought to looking at it, because that's a step you shouldn't skip, right? So it is important.
Yeah, agree with you on that one. Yeah.
And I think too, if you've developed that product or made tweaks to it, the benefits more than anybody else. So you can't expect, AI is good, but there's little things that it might not know that that you did when you were designing it or whatever. So I think that you've still got to have human element to it to get the best out of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that's sort of, I had a similar, a question along those lines. So if everybody is using AI to generate their listings, how do you really differentiate your listing from, thousands of others that are being generated using AI? What are some?
I would say use ZonGuru first of all.
First of all, yes. So let's say everybody's using ZonGuru, and I'm seriously looking at it now. And Mark and Kevin, we have to talk about this. But let's say everybody's using ZonGuru and everybody's using your AI tool. But still, you do need to differentiate. Otherwise, all the listings are going to maybe look the same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a viable argument to say everyone's using ZonGuru, because they don't. But what I would say on that is, if you are using ZonGuru, the one thing that's going to differentiate you from a lot of sellers out there is our keyword intelligence, right? And we're adamant that our keyword intelligence is the best in the marketplace for finding those opportunities, that other sellers just miss because they're using different software or different approaches. And we are very confident that we're finding localized keywords that aren't just what people reverse ASIN for, right? So other competitors are miss keywords, but you're finding them. So if you use that as a prompt for your AI, you're going to get a different level of output, right? Because you're using different keywords. So that's number one. But number two, it's exactly the point that we just mentioned, which is like, if you're not going to then decide, hey, AI has done my baseline in literally under a minute, and it's 85% of the way there, so I can spend an extra 30 minutes really researching and bringing my expertise, my creativity to my listing to get it that instead of being at the top 10% is now in the top 1%. If you're not doing that, then you're missing out. And that's where you can bring the unique perspective to your listing. Or if you're not saying, hey, I'm saving time on so much of my listing that I can really put more effort and resource into my images, right? Or my image overlays, or my research with my customer to understand what emotionally drives them, right? Or whatever those pieces are, that's where you're going to make the difference, right? So it's a whole kind of argument around technology, right? Is technology is amazing for us as humans and as business owners. You know, if you grab the bull by the horns and you push yourself to be more creative, to be a better expert, right? If you're going to sit and say, hey, that's the baseline, you're missing out. And what this kind of tool does is exactly what technology should do, which is push us as individuals to be more creative, to push ourselves to the 1%. And be better, right? And that's where you're going to be unique over everyone else in the space, because I guarantee you 90% of the people are going to take this and just push it live, right? And maybe not bring the expertise to it. And so you should be the other person, right?
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah, agree with you there, John. Yeah, that's good.
So Christine is asking, if you add your images, can this rate your images for you?
I mean, it's purely going to rate it from if it's pulling in your listing, right? And it's going to rate it from how many images you're using. It's not going to rate your images from the type of images you put in there. Are you using all the white space? That kind of stuff. There's no technology out there for that yet, but a pretty cool idea for sure.
Okay. And for everybody listening, in case you're interested, we do have a discount on ZonGuru. So let me just show this over here. So if you go to this link, zonguru.link/India20, there's a 20% discount for life. And I was actually looking at the link just now, John, and maybe what we want to do is, let me just share screen. And if you could go over some of the features, because I think a lot of people are maybe not very familiar with all of the other features that ZonGuru has to offer. Of course, this is a great feature, and this is one reason to, quickly jump to ZonGuru. But I just want to share screen and look at the other features as well, because I think that's something that people, maybe don't realize, that there is a lot of other functionality that is available on ZonGuru. So I'm here on this page, and let's just look at the prices real quick. So can you tell us what the difference is between seller and researcher?
Yeah, sure. A researcher is simply, if you want to use the research tools and jump in, that's looking for niches, it's looking for product ideas. It is keywords on fire, and it is listing optimizer. That is included in the researcher plan. But you don't get as many sessions because it's more of a research focused tool. The seller plan is literally, if you are selling on Amazon, you would use that, and you would connect to Seller Central and get all the other benefits. So the aspects like automatically uploading the listing to your Seller Central store will be available. Our analytics dashboard, will be available. Our review automation will be available. So any of the additional tools that you need via connection to Seller Central, so that you get that automatic connection between your store and the tools, is available. So that's the difference between the two plans. If you're literally not selling on Amazon, sign up for researcher. If you are selling on Amazon, connect and use all of the tools there across the board, right? So we get a lot of look, you can choose the tools you want to use, and certainly it's not lost on me that a lot of sellers already have tools that they use. But I would, at the price points and what's available, I would jump in and start using this, and I would confidently bet that over time you will start to use a lot of the other tools, because what we do well at ZonGuru and why enterprise brands and also agencies really love us at that expert level is, we have a no excuse the French, no bullshit meter and a non-shiny object syndrome, right? Where we really truly focus on, like, as a business owner, what is the most impactful stuff that we can do in the fastest, most efficient way, so that you can focus on other parts of your business. And that's what we do well across our tools. So as you use them, you're going to get the most relevant, impactful data in the fastest way, and you can move on to the other things that really matter, instead of just trying to shine a shiny object, right? So give that all a try, but you'll see it, and we have a strong seller DNA, so everything's done in the right way to move your business forward as a seller. So that's it. And again, the types of tools, it's really catering for each area of the operational side of your business. So we have tools focused on identifying product opportunities, validating niches, understanding the overall size and potential of a niche. We have tools around our flagship tools around keyword research and listing optimizer. We have tools that are business dashboards. you know, to a deep detail across your marketplaces. And then we have review automation, alert functions, tracking functions, etc. Right? So that's the depth of tools. What we don't have is very, very deep inventory management automation, and we don't have deep PPC automation built in, right? We have reporting on those, but not an actual automation. So those are areas that we don't have embedded in the tool, and we don't have outside traffic tools, right? So trying to drive outside traffic, that's a separate type of technology. So those are the kind of areas outside of the operational running of your storefronts that you won't get with ZonGuru. But certainly for those price points, you've got a lot that you can use. Yeah.
Right. So just looking at the pricing plan, so the pricing plans really depend on the number of SKUs. So if you've got 2 to 5, it's $43 per month, and this is with the 20% discount. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So they've this. Yeah. So
Okay.
you guys get a special discount coming through the link for your networking community. So there's a discount on top of the discounts. And so yeah, you know, when we built our seller plan, and that is a difference as well, is that we got a lot of feedback that there's a lot of expensive tools out there, and we just started selling on Amazon. So you know how we've created it is if you have a low amount of SKUs, you pay less, and if you have a higher amount of SKUs and our technology is working harder for you and our costs are higher, you know, you pay more. So as you scale your business and you launch more SKUs, you certainly can pay a higher price point. But you know, our highest plan is less than a lot of competitors out there. You know, we tap out at I think it's $250 a month is the high point there, right before you go into enterprise. So anything from $49 or on the annual is going to be less, and the discount is going to be less. So whatever that works out at $39 all the way through $250, depending on how many SKUs you have. Yeah, an important note on that, we actually are changing some of our plans pretty soon, and we're widening some of the bands. So instead of it being you know 1 to 5 SKUs, is going to be 1 to 20. So there is going to be an increase in the bands across there. So even some bigger benefits to our customers. So yeah, you can sign up now. You're still going to benefit from all of those changes when they get announced. So that's kind of you guys heard it first. That is happening.
That's very cool. And it looks very comprehensive. I mean, I'm seeing all of the tools that, you know, one would generally use on other tools over there. So if you can get everything at a lower price, I think that is a better deal. Plus you've got this AI optimization tool, which a lot of the other tools don't have. So I think this is very exciting. Okay, so Christine has got a question. If we take researcher, are we grandfathered into the seller plan at the discounted price when we start selling?
No. So if you take the researcher plan, you'll have the researcher costs. But if you start selling and you start to use the additional tools, you know, we'll automatically kind of right size you for the SKU count that you're using, and then charge you accordingly, right? So, you know, researcher plan is researcher, but as you start selling and you use the seller tools that are connected, you know, we will upgrade your plan and right size you to the right plan, right? So.
But she still has access to the 20% discount, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So the 20% discount is applied no matter what. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you sign up for researcher, and then once you start selling, you're automatically upgraded to seller, and then the discount, of course, applies. Okay.
Correct.
Another question.
A note on that.
Yeah.
Just going back to you know, our suite of tools and the price that you get. Yeah, you could see it that way and say, hey, you get a lot for the price point. But what I would say on top of that is, it's the general kind of consensus that you can just literally sign up with ZonGuru, use the AI tool, you know, make sure that you have the best optimized listing on page 1 and compare it to your main competitors. So you can check it off, and you'll be very surprised about how well you optimize with your current listing versus your competitors. Make sure you have the best listing on page 1. And on average, existing listings that are optimized, we're seeing on average a 23% increase in revenue. So just think about that on your business. You know, if you're going to pay $49 or $150 or $250 a month, you know, that's literally a couple of more sales, and you paid for that tool hands down every single month, right? So just think about the opportunity cost of really optimizing your business and what that can do for your revenue overall, right? It's pretty insane.
Yeah. I got tangled with keyword research in ZonGuru versus Helium 10. If I want to look up an ASIN keywords, is keywords on fire the only place?
Correct. So, we do things differently to someone like Helium 10, right? The point is, we're not trying to, again, shiny object. We're not trying to give you an understanding of like, hey, what's one competitor and how well are they reverse, indexed for all of those keywords, right? And how do I grab all those and how do I use them for my listing? Like, in our opinion, that's the wrong approach. What is the right approach is to actually seed your analysis with your main buyer keyword, right? So you type in your main product phrase, buyer keyword, and our technology will then show you, hey, these are the best organic rankings for this niche. Select the ones that you want, use multiple buyer keywords if you want, seed the analysis, and our technology will then find the best keywords that you should be optimized for. It'll even show you, how well are your main top 25 competitors ranking for all of those keywords, and then show you the opportunity of what keywords you should actually be going after that your main competitors haven't, and then using that to optimize your listing. So, it's a much better approach to going, hey, forget about who's indexing for what keywords. Use that to find what are the actual best keywords that I should be optimized for in my niche, and then show me how well my competitors are actually optimized for that set of keywords and where are they not optimized, right? So that's what our keyword intelligence does. And we were the first in the space going back 3-4 years. We coined the phrase contextual SEO. And so in our keyword research tool, we give you not only what are the best keywords you should be optimized for, but how an overlay of where are your competitors strong or weak, and how to kind of take advantage of that, right? So there's a lot in the tool there that you'll see that other tools don't have.
Right, makes sense. That was me, Claire. Okay, so guys, let us know if you have any more questions for John. We'll start wrapping up over here. Let's see, I don't see any questions.
Yeah, amazing. I think just, if anybody there is interested in trying it, just jump in. That does include a 7-day free trial. So jump in, and at least, if you're a seller and you want to, show your worth, go ahead, do the keywords on fire session, go into listing optimizer, drop in your listings, and then compare how well it's optimized versus your competitors. So at least you can scratch that itch and go, hey, I've got the best listing on page 1. And then if you want to use AI on top of that, you can go ahead and do that, right? That's worth it for sure. To make sure you have the best listing on page 1. Because if you don't, you're leaving potential on the table, no matter what you do, PPC, anything else, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, Mark and Kev, anything else before we wrap up?
No, I'd just like to congratulate you, John. ZonGuru has gone a long way in a relatively sort of short time, really, hasn't it? If you think count back the years, I mean, sort of 201, was it 2016, John?
Yeah, 2016 is when
it's relatively a short time, I guess, but you've done well. You've sort of gone a long way, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's really validating. When you have the top agencies in the Amazon space, who are full service Amazon agencies, who have a portfolio of beyond 200 million in annual revenue, and they're using and choosing ZonGuru to operate those businesses, right? So they're seeing the results, and they start with a few tools and they end up using it across every single client. So when you get that kind of validation outside of just individual sellers, we know we're on the right track, and we're doubling down on that. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Awesome.
And I think for sellers that are, to run their listings through and just see, you might think, oh yeah, I can't do any better with that, and just see what you actually are optimized for, and what your score is. It'll probably shock a few people, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I really like your, researcher plan, because I know for a fact that a lot of sellers in India, for example, they, find the other tools very expensive. So this would be perfect for somebody who's just starting out. They don't want to spend, $100 per month, getting the entire suite of sort of features, which they're not going to really use for, until they launch. So I think that's a really, really good way to start for new sellers. And John, you should definitely come to India for our Ecom India Summit. We were talking about it last time, but let's talk again. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest among India-based sellers.
Megally, you took the words out of my mouth then. I was going to come back and say that was my next line.
India and Mumbai is definitely on my bucket list. So any excuse I can get to there or Mumbai or other cities, I'd love to do it. So that'd be great.
Fantastic. Well, John, thank you so much for your time today. Really interesting session, and I'm sure our viewers found it very, very helpful. So thank you so much for joining us.
Very
Thanks
informative.
John.
Thanks for your time, John. Good to see you again, right?
Good to see everyone. Good luck out there. Yeah, good luck. Cheers.
Bye.
All right. So everyone, thanks a lot for joining us over here, and we will see you next week with another MMK show. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.